Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope your day is going just great. Is there a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Let me introduce this video with this pic in the background posted by Rebecca in the I Choose Canada group. She snapped this shot on a golf course in London, Ontario. Now Rebecca is an immigrant to Canada, immigrant from the United States, a former American who is celebrating her 10th year in Canada. She couldn't be happier that she immigrated to our country. Welcome, Rebecca, and thanks for posting this beautiful picture. Now, getting back to the question, is there a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Many of us are searching for our pot of gold. We invest our money in the stock market and we hope that the market goes up and that we get a good return. But have you seen the markets over the last couple of days gyrating down and gyrating up? Well, a lot of the movement in the markets had a lot to do with what the President of the United States was posting on social media. And some professional US stock traders have coined the phrase the taco trade. Taco, meaning Trump always chickens out. This pattern that we've seen a few times now where the president threatens some big economic action like tariffs and the market falls, and then he chickens out and the market goes back up. And the media likes this term because it's fairly funny. And that seems to be what dominates the headlines when this sort of thing happens. But let's look at it in a little bit more detail here. This last taco trade started on Friday when Trump threatened tech export limits and a new 100% tariff on Chinese imports starting November 1st or sooner. And Trump posted this message on Truth Social on Friday while the US stock markets were open and trading. He posted, starting November 1st, 2025 or sooner, depending on any further actions or changes taken by China, the United States of America will impose a tariff of 100% on China, over and above the tariffs that they are currently paying. Well, that social media post resulted immediately into Wall Street's worst day since April, the Dow Jones down almost 1,000 points. And you can see on the graph here that the Dow Jones was trading in positive territory, the green there, until just before 11 o'clock when Trump made that post. And then the market immediately turned negative and had a very bad day. Well, that was on Friday, and the Dow Jones closed down almost 1,000 points. But by Sunday, things had taken a little bit of a turn. Stock futures rise after Trump hints at backing off from new China tariffs. On Sunday, he made another post on Truth Social. Trump said China's economic troubles would all be fine and insisted that the US wants to help China, not hurt it. Don't worry about China, it will all be fine, Trump wrote. Highly respected President Xi just had a bad moment. He doesn't want depression for his country, and neither do I. The USA wants to help China, not hurt it. And of course, on Monday, stocks turned around and started heading up, and the headlines were like this one in Yahoo Finance. Trump backs off China, stocks rebound. Is taco trade back? Ha ha ha, that's really funny. The taco trade's back. And the media's run with this headline now. It's all a big joke. Ha ha ha. Look at Trump. He's so stupid. He always chickens out. And boy, what a dumb president he is. And let's get some memes going of him holding tacos or dressed up like a chicken. Ha ha ha. It's all really funny. But there was a time not so long ago that if a politician, any politician, let alone a president, made a comment one day that made the market crash, and a few days later made another comment that made the market skyrocket, that would be viewed as a fairly unethical thing to do. And there would probably be investigations and demands for resignations and maybe even inquiries for impeachment. But not in this day and age. In this day and age, we just get pictures of the president dressed up like a chicken. Now, I've always believed in this type of advice that I've heard many times. If you're not really able to explain what's happening or you don't really know why something's happening, a good way to try and understand it is to follow the money. Following the money sometimes makes you understand things a little differently. So let's follow the money in this case. Let's look at a graph of the Dow Jones Industrial Average over the past 5 days. And let's go right here onto the graph, right about there. It was trading at about 46,500, and Donald Trump made his post on Friday. And the market started going down, heavily going down. And that's the market close. It closed way down. That's the trading value. And the market dropped from its peak here to where it closed about 1,000 points. But look closer at the gray bars below the red line there. And I'll kind of zoom in on the graph here. The gray bars represent the volume of trading that was going on. Right after the announcement right here, there was a bump in the volume of trading. A lot of people were selling. Now look over here, you get right to the end of the day, and right there's a big spike in the trading volume, 56 million shares traded right at the close. Then the markets closed, and that was Friday. They would remain closed for Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, the president made new posts, walking back some of the threats he had made on Friday, and there you go, taco. Trump always chickens out. Well, of course, the market immediately opened higher on Monday and traded for the day and closed about 600 points higher. Now, when you look at the trading volume there, and it's not unusual that there's a bump in trading volume at the end of a trading day, especially on a weekend, but this was a particularly big jump in volume at the end of the day. And so the questions you have to ask are, who was selling and who was buying? And with the facts we have right now, I'll answer that question for you. We have no idea who was selling and no idea who was buying. But we can make an educated guess at least on one. Who was selling? People that were worried, many of them because of the comments that Trump made on Friday. Here we go again with a big trade war versus China. People that were worried that their stock holdings would continue to drop in the future, they panicked and they sold. We don't know who they are, but a lot of people sold. Now, who was buying? We have no idea. Well, people that were more optimistic that thought this is a good buying opportunity and maybe stocks will recover and go up in the future. And that's true of trading on any given day on the stock market. And if the president had not made any comment on Friday, that would have represented just a normal day, some volatility, people buying and selling, some of them bullish, some of them bearish, some of them will make money, some of them will lose money. But what do you call it when it's the chicken man's comments that cause the market to drop? Do you call it taco? Trump always chickens out? Or should we call it tits? Now I'm hesitating here a few seconds to see if you can figure out what that acronym means. Tits, Trump's insider trading scam. The reason it's always been viewed as unethical for a politician, especially a prime minister or a president, to make comments that can directly affect the stock market, because there's always that question and that perception, well, who knew that he was going to make these comments? Who knew that he was going to walk back those threats on Sunday? Did some of the traders in the last 15 minutes or half an hour on Friday, when that big spike in volume occurred, did they know that Trump was going to chicken out? Did they know that he was going to backpedal on his comments on Sunday? Was the president watching the market drop 1,000 points after he made those threats to China? Was he talking to anyone about possibly walking back those threats? Who was privy to the information? And if anyone was, did they benefit from it? These are questions that we will never know the answer to. It's just pure speculation. Nobody knows, and no one will ever know. Because really, institutions in the United States now are a joke. The SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, whose job it would be to look into situations like this, they won't. They won't be bothered. And the media doesn't care. The media is too busy making jokes. And this is another example how Trump will gladly wear the chicken suit. And I will be the chicken and the dummy that everyone laughs at. And that will absorb the media. And the media will delight in this, especially the left-wing media. We're going to coin the phrase taco. We're going to make Trump look stupid in memes. The guy doesn't know what he's doing. And it's all been normalized in US media as this is like a common occurrence. It's just something to laugh about. Maybe there'll be some skits on the late night shows, comedians making fun of it. And that'll be it. If anyone calls this out or points out that this is really unethical and the president really shouldn't do this, it's not a really good thing to do, the right-wing media and Trump supporters will just say, you must have Trump derangement syndrome. He's negotiating. He's the smartest negotiator in the world, and he's handling China. He's putting America first, and he's playing four-dimensional chess. We can't keep up with him. He's so brilliant and smart. He's so smart you don't even understand his negotiating skills. They'll say things like, well, he threatened China with these massive tariffs, knowing that the stock market will go down, and that's going to scare the Chinese. And then they're going to bend to his will. And he'll walk that back so that the market can go back, because he doesn't want to hurt Americans. And they won't really understand that when they're saying that, when they're repeating what he's actually doing, that they're actually describing what market manipulation is. That's what it is. When someone who's powerful that can affect the market says something that makes the market go down, and then very quickly says something that makes the market go up. Then you have to ask the question, well, who bought when it was down? And who's going to sell when it was up? And who sold before he made the threat and the market went down? And on and on and on. So my question to you then is there a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Or is there only a pot of gold at the end of a taco trade? Or is there really a pot of gold at the end of a tits trade? These are questions that we will never have the answer to, and I will never give you any advice on whether you should buy or sell after any post or public statement that Donald Trump makes. But what I think we should point out here is that this type of thing is not normal. It's been normalized now. I guess I should say it is normal now, but it's never been normal in the past. And what it does is it degrades the perception of the stability of the US economic system. It just degrades everyone's trust with the United States. Sure, there's people making money on these trades. The trading houses and the banks will be really happy if there's more volume because they make commissions. Everyone's making money except those poor people that panicked and sold at the bottom. But overall, this is not a good look for the United States. This is not what a country that should be representing the biggest and most stable equity market in the world. This is not how they should be behaving. That might be why the US dollar, compared to a basket of global currencies, has gone from 110 when Donald Trump was elected to about 99 now, down 10%. Or why the euro has gone from about $1.04 US to recently $1.17 US. So up about 15% versus the American dollar. Why the US dollar was worth about 111 rubles when Donald Trump was elected, and now it's only worth 81 rubles. The US dollar down about 30% versus the Russian ruble. So leave some comments and let me know what you think of the market gyrations recently, and let me know what you think of Chicken Man's media posts. Is this a good way to handle negotiations with other countries? Making social media posts and threats while the stock market is trading? You think that's a good idea? I'm interested in your comments. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. If you want to support my work on a monthly basis, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all on the next one.